Welcome back, everyone. We're Simply Bitcoin. We break down the news from Twitter, the daily fail, meme review, software releases, hardware releases, and the websites by plebs. Joining us today, fellow Bitcoiner and pleb, Eric Cason. We are diving into the numbers. Let's do it.
Number time! Number time is brought to you by Bitcoin 2022. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference ever, hosted in sunny Miami Beach, Florida. It's going to be awesome. President Bukele, Michael Saylor, Saifedean, Adam Back. The speakers are going to be awesome. Deadmau5, the DJ, is spinning on the last day, and you can take advantage of the link down below for 10% off your tickets to Bitcoin 2022.
At the time of this recording, the block height is 722,240. The Bitcoin price, 44,070. Chain rewrite days, 745. Total public lightning capacity, 3,434.47. That seems like a new all-time high. Yeah, I think so. Moscow time, 2269. Blocks to the halvening, 117,760. And the new metric that we've added, it is Samurai Whirlpool's unspent capacity, 4,395.88. And for the people who don't know what that is, Samurai Whirlpool is a mixing service, and that is the amount of BTC currently in the pool. The numbers, Nico.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. We have to move down the lightning metric. Eric doesn't know, right? We have special sounds. We have Satoshi the Bitcoin chicken, which I'm sure a lot of you guys haven't met. He clucks every time the price of Bitcoin reaches an all-time high, which hasn't been in a while now. And Phil chose this arbitrary number, but every time the lightning capacity increases by 500 Bitcoin, we add lightning effects. But Phil, I think that 500 number, we have to bring it down to 250 or something. We have to bring it down to 250.
Took us a while, huh? It took us a while to get there.
It's too much, bro, and the people want their lightning effects.
They do.
Just saying.
All right.
Are we changing?
Maybe we need a revamp.
Are we changing it to 250?
Should we?
I don't know. It's up to you.
I'm good with that.
You know what? Let's ask Eric. Eric, you're totally new.
Yes.
Should we change? Yes. Boom. It's done. It's solidified. All right, Phil. I'm going to make lightning bolts shoot out of your eyes. Say something Thorish.
Thorish. That was what I said.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Very good stuff. Anyways, I got some Glassnode data. I think it's really interesting. Guys, take a look at the hash rate. You guys know that I'm a miner. You know how much this means to me. It should be important to you as well. I think a lot of people don't appreciate it. But let's check out the Bitcoin hash rate. Again, you can't know exactly what the hash rate is. This is an estimation based on the block time coming in. But if you check it out, right here is the thing that I always like to talk about. Here is the infamous China ban that happened late last summer or early last summer, right? 2021. Here was the tumble in the hash rate. I would like to believe that this brought the price with it. And here is the recovery of the hash rate. It is making all-time highs. So, man, it's what I've been saying, Phil. Remember my theory, right? You know, the hash rate recovers. I think the Kaka fiat price is going to follow, and I think that's what we're seeing today. And yeah, man, but it would again, and I also I always like to highlight this. The recovery of the hash rate was significant because it happened in a completely decentralized manner. It happened because millions, maybe millions, maybe hundreds of thousands of individuals were following their incentives, the incentives that the Bitcoin network provides, and they've relocated those miners all over the world. Some went to Kazakhstan, some went to Russia, some went to the United States of America, specifically Texas. Texas is booming for Bitcoin mining, right? So again, absolutely bullish. The hash rate recovered. Haha, Chinese Communist Party, take that. Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts?
So I think that's like a 3 to 4 week lag time on the on the hash rate, right?
Wait, it's still a theory, Phil. It's still a theory.
I know, but I know, but I'm just saying for the theory, right? If we're gonna plot these arbitrary numbers, then we're looking at like, okay, the hash rate reaches a new all-time high, and then if it keeps at that level and continues to climb, 3 to 4 weeks later, we saw some activity. But besides that, I want to go back to what you said about the incentives. It's got to be pretty scary, right, for governments of the world to see something like this happen with absolutely no central body to make all the decisions. It's amazing how when the incentives align, things just seem to work. That's gotta be bad for them.
Dude, I think the central planners are having a meltdown. You saw the responses from the IMF. We've been covering all this crazy propaganda from the legacy. They're not mainstream anymore, from the legacy media. We covered an article on yesterday's episode from The Guardian. Today we're going to cover an article from the Economist. They're ramping up that propaganda, and I think it's exactly what you said, Phil. I think Hillary Clinton really hit the nail on the head when she came out on that video that Bitcoin is a threat to nation states. No, it's not a threat to nation states. In fact, it will free the people of a nation state. I think it's a threat to the bureaucratic parasites. I think that's what she meant. But yeah, man, honestly, they must be looking at this and they're like, what the F do we do? You know, like, because I would, you know, if I was a parasitic bureaucrat, you know, I guess I would react the same way. I guess I would call Bitcoin racist, I guess. I don't know. Eric, what do you think? You were crazy YouTubers. Like, what are we saying?
More or less, because politicians can't stop it. They're going to tell you everything in their power that it's evil, it's bad, it's racist, it's sexist, it's hateful, it's empowering terrorists. They're going to tell you it's going to kill your mom, you know, like whatever they want to tell you, they're going to tell you it because they're scared. And they know that they can't stop it. They know that with the hash rate recovering, specifically the hash rate recovering after the Chinese Communist Party, which is arguably one of the most powerful entities in the world, directly attacks Bitcoin. And it recovers in what, you know, by 3 months we had fully recovered, was that? And I remember people were freaking out saying it was going to take like 18 months. But great to see the network recover so quickly and adequately just because the incentives are aligned. Makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. Oh, man, that sucks. I would hate to be a central banker right now. I think they see the ominous cloud coming and they're like, no, but we could do central bank digital currencies. We could do that. We could keep alive. Anyways, Phil.
Nico, it's okay because, like you said before, Bitcoin's racist now, you know. So it's perfect. So like we've just got a new narrative against it, you know. So and that's exactly what they keep doing. They keep throwing these nonsense narratives at it, and like it just doesn't really stick because anyone and everyone can use Bitcoin. So what are you saying?
I hope they keep throwing the nonsense narratives because it gives us source material to talk about on the show. But anyways, I'm gonna bounce this off Eric. Eric. So we've been, you know, coming up with the theory, right? We haven't heard about this a lot, right? Not a lot of people talk about this, but I got into Bitcoin through mining, right? So I have I appreciate the hash rate because I think I have a physical kind of idea of what it represents in my mind, at least. Usually, what I was telling Phil, right? We were having this conversation off camera before we presented this theory to the audience. Was, dude, usually when I see the hash rate go up, the price tends to follow a couple weeks to a month later. So I told Phil, I'm like, Phil, if the hash rate recovers, right, to the previous all-time high, pre-China ban, I think the price should follow suit. Again, we don't really care about the price. We're advocates of DCA, but, you know, we're just shooting the shit. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. You know, in my mind, miners being called miners because they mimic what gold miners do. They expend a fiat amount of electricity in order to acquire Bitcoin, and that allows for them to have an elastic response to the price. So, you know, if they're feeling the pressure and got to pay their bills, they're going to sell, you know, pretty much at wherever they mine it, so they get as close to being able to capture that value. But I think a lot of people that are mining understand the deflationary nature, so they're going to hold on longer and longer. And they realize by holding and producing, you know, hash rate go up, price follow, opportunity to sell, reinvest in more equipment. So I'd say you'd hit the nail on the head. And the other one I'd also point out is actually the hash rate of all the shit coins. You know, like it hasn't recovered in the same way, and we're still seeing the price dragging in the same way. Not to mention that, you know, the proof of work that they're doing is kind of bullshit at the end of the day. But hey, you know, shitcoiners, you do you. Feel bad if you get wrecked, but you should come over on our side. It's better.
Yep, I agree. But hey, it doesn't matter how much you tell them. I feel like the best way is only to wreck yourself, and then you're like, maybe I give Bitcoin a shot. I mean, about like if there was like 10 people, I would say like 2 people out of those 10 people are like, okay, maybe I should give Bitcoin a shot. 2 of them just drop out completely, saying this is a scam. I don't know, Phil. Are those numbers correct, or am I just talking out of my ass?
I don't know.
All right. Anyways,
Number's correct.
Phil, it's time for the Daily Fail.
Brought to you by Amber App. Check them out, amber.app. It's the easiest way to buy Bitcoin. They make savings in Bitcoin simple with smart automation, low fees, and fair spreads. The link is down below.
Amber, the smart way to stack sats.
That's right, you guessed it. We're gonna go a little light, but still a big enough fail, right? We're going light because it's NFTs, no tinfoil hat for our guest today. But I know that Eric would have appreciated it. All right, anyways. Let's take a look at this garbage. Mark Cuban's NFT company caught promoting scams for $25K a post. No way. The Cube's a scammer? No way. Mark Cuban's NFT company that has control of the @NFT Instagram account has been caught promoting projects that are scams. We are all surprised. Listen to everyone's surprised Oz. The claims come from Twitter user Spaceboy, who publicly claimed that the verified Instagram account @NFT, which Cuban officially backs, promoted shady projects that have resulted in investors losing their money. Cowboy claims in the Twitter thread that the Instagram account was charging developers $100K plus for promotional posts that were not disclosed as advertising to the Instagram account's followers. According to the YouTube investigator CoffeeZilla, we love CoffeeZilla here. He's an awesome fellow YouTuber. And I do think he's a Bitcoiner. Anyways, who recently exposed a YouTuber and streamer for scamming his audience out of $500K, states that he impersonated a pretend NFT project promoter to talk to the team behind the @NFT Instagram account, where he learned that the team was charging creators $25,000 a post with 5 post minimum. Rolling Stone asked Cuban for comment on the matters over email, to which he replied by saying he's not involved with operations of the account, and forwarded the publication the handles of 2 of his associates. Instagram recently banned the @NFT account on Thursday, February 3rd. Now, what is interesting about all this is, for me anyways, this guy here, this Spaceboy account from Twitter.
Space Cowboy.
Space Cowboy. What did I call him?
Boy.
Space Boy.
Space Boy.
I think I was thinking of Grift Boy. I mean Bit Boy. Sorry. Give me one sec. Yeah, no, we're going to go take a look at this tweet thread, right? Because essentially what he does is he exposes this account and why he thinks it's all, it's all a fraud, and it's just beautifully done. Anyways, let's dive into it. Let's take a look at Space Cowboy, or @TopShotFunds tweet thread exposing this activity of the @NFT account. Here we go. Mark Cuban-owned Instagram account with 1.7 million followers is promoting a shadowy cabal of scammy copy-pasta NFT projects without proper disclosures, thus taking serious advantage of the less informed. Oh my gosh, no way. Fleecing noobs with NFTs? Who would have thought? Number 1, yeah, I know, right? You're surprised. I'm surprised. I could tell Nico's surprised.
Oh my goodness.
Over the past couple of weeks, I've had an increased number of normie friends reach out about new NFT projects I had surprisingly never heard of. What did they all have in common? Number 2, meet the @NFT account on Instagram. Adept at social media marketing, they've amassed 1.7 million followers, most of whom this is their first introduction to NFTs. They monetize on a daily basis by promoting eerily similar projects that practice scammy tactics without disclosing that they are ads. Yes, there are 3 separate Kong projects, all promoted within the past 2 weeks, none with the ad required by the FTC. So there's a rule that specifies that it has to say that it's an ad, and none of them do. So that's pretty sketchy, and they should know these rules. Anyways, what are the scammy tactics that the projects they promote use? In search of legitimacy, they will buy fake followers, pay influencers to pass it off as organic interest. And here they're showing accounts, right, that are, this is essentially the research that the person has done. Embellish artist backgrounds. So here we can take a look at some of the backgrounds about the artists that are pumping these NFTs. Project's lead artist has been the top pick for movie industry veterans for over 14 years. I mean, none of this stuff makes any sense. You can pay for puffery pieces like this. It's not that expensive. Anyways, how much does Cuban's @NFT team make off this charade? Minimum $100K campaign. So here we go. Here's some tweets from the account. Hey, pleasure to connect. Our rates range and typically begin at 100K for a full feature campaign that includes a post published to the main feed in prime time, a swipe up story linked to the NFT drop, headline coverage in our newsletter, and a blast to our NFT Discord. We also offer additional services based on the needs of our partners. Also important to note, your project must pass our internal review. You know, that's important. As we take the financial safety of our community very seriously. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. To their credit, each project must pass that internal review as they take the financial safety of their community very seriously. Apparently, the author found this pretty entertaining as well. They also pride themselves on their stamp of approval being as sure a bet as any. Is that so? As an NFT artist or NFT producer, if you're lucky enough to drop your NFT release with their platform support, their staggering 250,000 plus following will swarm to grab it up. Confident the company's stamp of approval is as sure as a bet as any, the project will produce tremendous resale value. This is the whole point of this. It's all pump and dump. They are the arbiters of what hot meets NFT 101, so it's no surprise Falovich and the leverage entity hold such sway over an industry that continues to evolve on a daily basis. Okay, so, you know, we can clearly see that, you know, this person has done a lot of diving into this, okay? And we're just going to finish off the thread right here. In conclusion, Mark Cuban is the slimiest NFT shill of them all. And for God's sake, do your own research, people. On that point, we go over to AppDeal, okay? And we take a look at OpenSea, okay? And why do we take a look at OpenSea? Because we want to take a look at the investors. Now, for the people who don't know what OpenSea is, OpenSea says that it's a provider of a marketplace for crypto goods, but really it's just it's a platform to post and sell and resell your NFTs. That's really all it is. Anyways, let's take a look at some of the backers of OpenSea. We've got Andreessen Horowitz, we've got Mark Cuban. There you go. Naval Ravikant. So you see, he's got the platform to dump the NFTs. At the same time, he's also got the scammy Instagram account that's pumping these projects. And of course, you've got A16Z, which we've shown time and time again funds the majority of the shitcoin projects. And then of course, another backer is Ashton Kutcher, which we've explained was also involved with Mark Cuban in shilling at one point Unicoin Gold back in 2018, which today no longer exists. So there you have it. He's busted, man. That is absolutely busted. And the crazy thing is that people take this person seriously. People think that he is he's a legitimate businessman. I understand that he has legitimate businesses. I'm not calling into question any of those legitimate businesses, but this in particular is shady shit. Okay? And he's scamming noobs with it. Plain and simple.
Absolutely. Dude, the unicorn gold or whatever that we covered, I think he even got, sued or something by the SEC.
That's right.
The cubes. So yeah, look, it's a stereotypical, and it just reminds me of fiat culture so much. This is what fiat culture is, right? You have this celebrity, it's a Shark Tank, and because he puts his name on it, you're like, oh, Mark Cuban, he's a great investor, blah 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 blah. This must be a good opportunity. It's just all bullshit. And Max Kaiser, when he came on the show, we were making fun of Mark Cuban that day. Phil, I don't know if you remember because it was a long time ago. And he called Mark Cuban an egomaniac. I think that Mark Cuban is pissed off that he did not get into Bitcoin at the price he got it, that he wanted to get into Bitcoin, and he has to get in line like everybody else. Something that Saylor just saw and said, look, I'm just trying to buy the coin, because he understands exactly what the fundamentals are of what he's buying, right? Absolute fucking scarcity. Cuban doesn't see it. He wants to create his own Bitcoin, right? And he's still in that phase. I don't think he's ever going to evolve from that phase, especially if he's investing into these shitcoin projects, because we all know how these shitcoin projects are, bro. You invest in one, it goes to shit, you invest in the other one, and then you sell it to noobs, and then you just recycle that strategy, right? And it's very profitable, dude. A16Z, you saw Jack Dorsey bashing them on Twitter. What do they keep doing, dude? They keep fucking, getting these shit coins out of nowhere. They dump it on they market the fuck out of it. Great marketing. They dump it on unsuspecting noobs, and then they do it again and again and again and again. So yeah, man, Mark Cuban can't be trusted. And this is that said, I would rather buy bananas than Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin was like at $1,000 per coin. Like, this is the dude that you're taking investment advice from, you know? So anyways, shame on the cubes. Phil?
Just before we go to Eric, though, I was just thinking about this while you were explaining. So is it possible that Mark Cuban is ignorant enough that he thinks he could accumulate enough Bitcoin to influence the network? Is he one of those people that's that dumb that thinks he's gonna, like, because you're gonna have to spend that Bitcoin, bud. You know, like, you're not gonna be able to influence the network for long.
He's a fiat billionaire, bro. Fiat billionaire, fiat mentality. Shitcoins are. It's like shitcoins are not even fiat mentality. It's fiat mentality times 100, right? It's like it's maximized, you know. And then Guy Swan, when he came on the show, I think he said something really intelligent, which is these shitcoiners don't mind shooting Bitcoin in the back if it means they're getting their Lambo in their garage, right? And I think that's a phenomenal point. And I think that's exactly the case with cubes, you know. So I think he's just going to keep being sour. Price of Bitcoin is going to do its thing. NGU technology is going to keep doing its thing, and he's just going to keep, being sour. But eventually, everyone bows down to the king. Anyways, Eric, what are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, he doesn't even know what fucking game we're playing at this point in time. Like, he doesn't actually get why Bitcoin's unique or different. In addition to, like, I actually think he's fucking dumb enough that he'll, like, sell you this ugly ass ape thing, or, like, what was it? It wasn't apes, it was some other thing. Whatever garbage that they're shilling on there. Like, look, if you look at that, you think, like, that's a piece of art. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, maybe you should drink some more dish soap, because, like, that's clearly, like, a judgment call that you make in life. So I don't know what to tell you if you think an NFT like that's valuable. All right, I oscillate here. Like, look, like that, it's clearly fucking stupid. And if you, like, buy it under the assumption that, like, you'll resell it to somebody for more, like, I don't know. There's, like, a really strong appraisal that you need to be like, wait, am I the guy that's all the way on I just find this whole thing fucking gross and frustrating. It's hard to be out in the world with the Mark Cubans to being like, oh, Bitcoin's nice. Like, here's my shit coin. And it's just like, why? Like, we don't like you. We don't want you participating. Like, why are you even saying the word Bitcoin? Just, like, go away. You suck.
You know what? It's exactly like Nico pointed out about Max Kaiser explaining he is just an egomaniac. You know, like that's exactly what it is. It's always about him. It's the same thing as, unfortunately, for Tesla, Elon Musk. It's the same type of thing for him. It's the same type of thing for Bill Gates. Like, all these people, it's just so strange. It's just so strange how they lose touch with reality and they think that they make sense. And it's really scary because they have so much influence. That's the problem, and like they can't for a second just think outside of themselves. Like, for a second there, maybe doing the right thing for everyone is also doing the right thing for you. Like that's the thing about Bitcoin, right? Like, you end up doing the right thing for you, but then it turns out to be doing the right thing for everyone. So
I absolutely agree.
Like,
I think they can't stand, Phil, that they don't have the privilege that the fiat network, I'm just going to call it a network, okay? I don't know if it's a network, but the fiat system gives them, and they can't stand that, right? They don't understand that, right? Because Bitcoin's different, right? It doesn't matter whether you have 1 million Bitcoin or 2 million Bitcoin or 3 million Bitcoin, right? You don't have any more say over the network than someone who has 0.01 Bitcoin. And I think these fiat quintillionaires, they're used to that privilege, and the fact that they don't have that privilege, I think, drives them a little cuckoo, right? And I think that you see that. Bitcoin has a way of exposing everything. The totalitarians, the psychopaths, the sociopaths, right? And again, is Mark Cuban one of them? Who knows? But there's some things that he does that definitely indicate that. But anyways, I don't know if he is, bro, but there's some things that he does that are just really sketchy, and they're just bad for people. Just saying. But anyways, Phil, it's time.
I think this is kind of I just wanted to say, like, I think that this is just sort of the egomaniac that gets produced when you're that rich, because like Bitcoin's not a system designed for them. Like you're fiat rich, you've invested in that system, that's your lifestyle. Like, this isn't for you. Like, this is for other people that actually need money to be self-sovereign. Like, if you're a fucking trucker in Canada, because we live in 2022 and this shit's insane.
See, this is also the point, right? Like, oftentimes you hear this argument from shitcoiners that, oh, when we sit there and tell them that they're bag holders or something like that, and all you want to do is dump your bags, they're like, well, why are you holding Bitcoin? And it's like, you don't really get it, right? There's a very small percentage of people, of course, that just want to, that they're still in it for the fiat gains, and that's perfectly fine. But there's genuinely a large portion and a growing portion of us that are here to actually change the world and to bring in a proper monetary base. Like, we're genuinely here for that change, and we understand that that's what this is about. So, and that number is growing, and I think that's what matters. So when you see guys like Mark Cuban, like, it's to your point, this system is not for them. He really has zero incentive except the fiat incentive to gain Bitcoin. So that's why to your point, this is why people like him end up taking the shitcoiner route.
Absolutely. And I think that's who was it that came on the show, Phil? He said something, I think it was Pierre Richard, bro, where essentially he said something along the lines of, he's a fiat billionaire, right? And I think a lot of the shitcoiners, they're in it for the fiat gains. It's exactly what you said. Like, and they're still thinking, oh, I'm gonna buy this coin low, this shitcoin low, I'm gonna buy it high, I'm gonna sell it high, then I'm gonna get rich in fiat. Bitcoiners don't think like that. Bitcoiners is very simple. Do I have more Bitcoin today than I had the day before? If the answer is yes, you're good. If the answer is no, you're doing it wrong, right? And again, it's because you're trying to increase your stack. The fiat value is irrelevant, which is why we don't talk about it on this show, because it's fucking noise, right? NGU technology is going to do its thing. The purchasing power of Bitcoin is literally designed to go up forever. Once you understand that, all of this bullshit becomes noise, and all of these schemes are just very elaborate ways for the developers to take your corn, enrich themselves, and leave you with worthless JPEG bags. But anyways, Phil, it's time for the Daily Meme Review. Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by toxic, savage Bitcoiners. This is the artwork for volume 10. It's different every volume, and they're scarce. There's only 1,000 copies made per volume. Get your print of Citadel 21 today. Honk, 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 honk. All right, this is the first meme. And it's a honk honk. It's a block clock that says honk. That's awesome. If NVK, right, is actually doing that, shout out to NVK. Because that's pretty badass. He's Canadian. I don't see why. Anyways, moving on to the next one by LC Hoddle.
This is deep.
When you're happy, you enjoy the music. When you're sad, you understand the lyrics. Don't stop believing, please.
If you know, you know. That is a niche meme.
Dude, is it because of the Yellow reference?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Anyway.
I think so.
It makes me happy that Yellow does that every day. Anyways, for anyone who doesn't know, who's not in the know, Yellow, the Muppet that does the Amber app, he's a very big meme account. He holds his spaces every day on Twitter, and he plays the song, Don't Stop Believing, and he adds little Bitcoin things here and there. Does it every day, and he's going to do it every day till 100K. Right, so just explain it for anyone who doesn't know. But anyways, moving on. Next meme by Bitbug. You buy Bitcoin to have more dollars. I buy Bitcoin to have less dollars. We are not the same. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier, right? Just a couple seconds ago. Next one by Run the Banks. Oh, he's replying to my tweet. Yeah, dude, I'm kind of disappointed, honestly, that Joe Rogan apologized. But anyways, here's the Joe Rogan before the Dr. Malone interview. Joe Rogan... Joe giving an apology to the woke. Yeah, I don't know why Joe Rogan had all the leverage. I have no idea why he apologized, but whatever. To each their own. Last meme by Plan Marcus. Bitcoin is separating money and state. And you want to talk about what? Why do we need crypto? Faster transactions, more efficient finance, own digital art, remove the state from the money printer. Amen. Very strong meme. I like that. Marcus. Anyways, the last one. Very powerful. Beijing 2022 is referencing the Winter Olympics in Beijing. Dude, like, what the... it's so crazy Like, look, it's a coronation of Xi Jinping. Like, that's what it is. And then you see Nancy Pelosi coming out, it's like, don't make fun of the Chinese. Like, what the fuck, dude? Isn't America supposed to be the most powerful? Like, anyways, Eric, what are your thoughts?
I mean, she's a communist too. You know, like that. Solidarity with other communists. God damn, she rules over my state. I don't know. Like we live in Crazyville. Like I don't know, like real workers have organized and they're challenging the Canadian government against like their insane policies across the world. And now like everybody's honking and it's like driving people insane. And then like these are like, oh, like this shitcoins, like this is gonna fix the problem. And it's like, no, you fucking Bitcoin fixes this. Like you're just here making noise and distracting people. And this is what I'm most frustrated with is like, look, shitcoining's fine, but like, god damn it, like, stay away from what we're doing. Like, don't associate us with whatever fucking bullshit scams you're doing. I hate that they do that. It's pro Bitcoin, buy my shitcoin.
Absolutely. No, you're go ahead, Phil.
I have to say this super quick because you're absolutely right. And I'm just thinking right now, where the hell is Chris Sky? Does anybody remember Chris Sky? Right? And he was like,
damn.
He's like, he's going to save everyone. I'm going to help everybody. And like, look, this is in Canada. Chris is Canadian. How come he's not standing out there with the truckers? You know, like Simply Bitcoin donated, a whole bunch of plebs donated, all these like great people donated to their cause. And like, where's this guy? You know, he was sitting there shitting on Bitcoiners every single day. Like, where the hell is this guy? So
he
come on.
He had shitcoin bags, bro. That's why. But you know what's funny? Okay, and I pointed this out today. I tweeted it. Look, the anthem of communists worldwide. It's called the International, and one of the lines it says, "Workers of the world unite." Guess what? A bunch of workers, also known as truckers, united. And the left is losing their fucking minds, right? It's because they've never been for the workers. And this is what Nico has been telling you for years now, right? It's bullshit. It's a facade. It's only about power. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what it's always been about for them. And they hide behind moral virtue, equality, race, whatever, to justify ends justify the means, right? It's all bullshit. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. For those memes, Phil, I'm going to give it this Represent hoodie. Woo! Given to us by David, and you can take advantage of the link down below for 15% off. Represent. Yeah. Phil, what would you give those memes?
Our whole meme review got sidetracked, but that was a great sidetrack. And on that note, I am giving it not fancy threads like you, but a fancy shot mic. That's right. This is coming with me, the unconfiscatable. That's right, Nico.
Ooh. Anyways, Eric, what would you give those memes?
Right. I'm gonna give some sativa because you need to be high in order to deal with this shit. It's just it's wacky. So blaze up, you guys. It's really the only way that this shit starts to make sense, and it'll help you connect the dots on Bitcoin too. So one day you'll be like, "Whoa, man! I just got it. Like Bitcoin's it, man."
It's true. It's true. This is very true. And if you guys didn't know, pay attention to Phil and I's show every show. Now you know. But anyways, guys, make sure to subscribe to us on our Telegram channel if you haven't. And of course, make sure to subscribe to us on alternative video platforms because we do talk shit about the World Economic Forum, like Rumble.com. And BitcoinTV.com. They don't censor there because it's Bitcoin TV. But anyways, Phil, it's time for the daily news. Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch. Like the 3D printed Bitcoin Honey Badger opens up, you put your favorite hardware wallet in there. Or the 3D printed Bitcoin art structure thing grenade opens up, you put your favorite hardware wallet in there as well. And you can take advantage of the link down below for 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. The Hong Kong HODL movement, and for any of you guys that don't know, Bitcoiners teamed together after GoFundMe stole the money from everyone donating to the truckers. We've covered this tremendously, but I think it was a milestone moment. Shout out to BTC Sessions, shout out to Jeff Booth, shout out to Greg Foss. This is absolutely incredible. It made it onto Fox News. Let's check it out, shall we?
Give, Send, Go has stepped up and raised already more than $5 million for the truckers. How long till they try to shut that down too? Some Canadians are clearly worried about that. They're turning to cryptocurrency. Tallycoin, for example, is a small crowdfunding service that uses Bitcoin. It's not controlled by banks. That's the point. They're hosting a fundraiser for the truckers. Now, why is this appealing? No one can steal the money. No government can pressure anyone to turn the money over because governments don't control crypto. Bitcoin goes from person A to person B, and all the intermediary does, the company, is connect the two. It's pretty appealing. And you can imagine the long-term consequences here. If the people in charge in this country and in Canada want to make the US dollar irrelevant, they'll keep acting like this, and soon that it will be.
Absolutely bonkers, absolutely crazy. But get ready, guys. Just like it was Satoshi's last post, right? He said you kicked the hornet's nest, right? Because people were offering to donate to WikiLeaks and Bitcoin, right? Trust me, Bitcoin will become a target. That's why you see articles from The Guardian. That's why you see articles from The Economist, which we're about to cover in a second. But before we get into the nitty gritty, let's talk about this trucker. Let's talk about some positive stuff. 4,081 contributors they've raised. For anyone that doesn't know how to translate it, 899 million Bitcoin is about 8.9 Bitcoin. The goal is to get to 10 Bitcoin. Absolutely crazy. Off the top of my head, that's around $300,000, a little bit more than that, $300,000 US dollars. It's going to be more. This is going to keep going. These are people from all over the world supporting it. Just take a look at the thing. No messages. Sometimes it's Hong Kong. F you, Trudeau. Bitcoin is freedom. Greetings from Brazil. And the very powerful part about this is done without a middleman. These are people worldwide seeing what's happening and seeing the tyranny that's happening in Canada. And from wherever they are, they could be in Africa, Antarctica, South America, Central America, Asia, Australia. Doesn't matter. They could send Bitcoin to this movement. And that's extremely powerful. And because of how powerful that is, just like they tried to censor Joe Rogan, a lot of people are going to want to stop that happening. Why? Because it takes power away from them. We're going to talk about that in a second, but I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. I'm going to go to Eric first. Eric, what are your thoughts on this record amount of money raised in a second for the freedom movement that is currently happening in Canada?
I mean, this is phenomenal. Like it's the exact use case that we've known Bitcoin's had for a long time. I'm actually like kind of blown away at how stupid this all is. That they're like, duh, like we'll just steal their money from GoFundMe and like all done. Like everybody go home. And it's like, are you guys like that fucking you guys really thought that like people would be like, dang, they like stole our $10 million. All right, guys, like get in your trucks and drive home. It's really diluted. So bravo to everybody who's donated. And don't let up. Keep honking and let these morons know that like we're done with their bullshit. Get out of our way and stop being tyrannical pieces of shit, or else we're gonna have to escalate here. And we'd really just prefer for you to leave. So please do that.
Absolutely, and it's absolutely mind blowing because GoFundMe allowed other more violent causes to raise money on there. But then there's a peaceful movement in Canada, and all of a sudden, because that doesn't align with them politically, they don't allow that? Like, what the F are you guys thinking? I think they awoken the beast, and I think that this, this really highlights the importance of having an apolitical money that doesn't give a fuck about your political meanings, and that apolitical money is Bitcoin. And only Bitcoin. Because the shit coins might give you this false illusion that they're apolitical, but make no mistake, as Bitcoin's market cap continues to grow up and it starts taking more influence and power away from nation states and their fiat monies, trust me, nation states are going to go after the lowest hanging fruits first. There'll be stable coins and any coin that isn't sufficiently decentralized. And in my opinion, only Bitcoin could withstand that. It already has. Look at the China ban. Anyways, Phil, what are your thoughts on all this?
So I think that what's happening with the truckers is incredibly significant, and really the power of Bitcoin, as you guys both stated, right? It cannot be denied. Right, it just simply goes around these systems of censorship, which I think that many people, by GoFundMe doing this, let's say that there was a certain portion of the population that wasn't aware that this type of stuff actually happens. Well, now it was in the corporate-owned media that it happens. So now it's starting to go out, and it's starting to tell people. It's starting to tell the average person, hey, look, we can stop anything that we don't agree with. And this is, this is really scary stuff. And this time around, though, right? If we go back to the original, what happened with WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, and with Bitcoin back then, Bitcoin is much further along now. The network is much larger. The network just withstood and succeeded from a nation state attack, right? From China with the mining ban. So this is, look, this is just another arena. This is just another stadium where Bitcoin gets to shine and show everybody what its properties are. And I have to say that seeing it on Fox and seeing them have to talk about it, it really gave me goosebumps, right? To see the power of that, because I think that, I think that a lot of people don't, maybe it's just even in themselves, but for some reason people understate the power of desire and human will, right? And the desire for freedom.
Yes.
And once you realize what it is that's being done to you, whether it's, through malicious intent or ignorance or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference what the intentions are. The point is that it's happening and it's real. And once you come to that realization, then you realize that the censorship-resistant properties of Bitcoin, the fact that it is not issued by the government, the fact that the government cannot just produce it at will, becomes very appealing. And that's where we are.
100%, right? 100%. And because of that, Phil, leave it to the legacy corporate propaganda media to attack it. Anyways, let's check out this article by a very, very main publication, right? The Economist. The charm of cryptocurrencies for white supremacists. Now, I'm going to completely destroy why this is not true.
Yeah.
But before I do that, right, let's get to it. And when I say it's not true, Bitcoin is for everyone, right? Just like air is for everyone, right? So you could make an argument that air, oxygen, is for white supremacists. You could make that argument, right? You really could. So Bitcoin, because it's for everyone, that means that because it's for everyone, unfortunately, some of those people are white supremacists. But what percentage of those people are there? Because don't make no mistake, it is not a coincidence that this happened, right? This happened, and around the same day, this type of article happens. And check out the reasons as to why they're against it. Anyways. This is talking about the Charlottesville 2017, right? The next day, white supremacists drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters, killing one of them. In the aftermath, PayPal, an online payment platform whose terms of service forbid raising money to promote hate, suspended extremist accounts. So did Apple Pay, Google Wallet, Visa, and Discover. 2 credit card firms followed suit, as did Patreon, a crowdfunding site. Far-right, here, check this out, Phil. Far-right groups found themselves in search of other places to raise money. What many of them embraced was cryptocurrency. An advocacy group has identified over 600 cryptocurrency addresses used by members of the far right. 600 is nothing. 600 people is nothing. They made this whole article, all these pictures, all of this to point out that it's 600 people, and that's a problem. Why are they doing this? Because people are circumventing their systems of censorship, right, to raise money without them in a system that they can't capture. But before I get to this, before I continue on the article, right, so what they're saying is Bitcoin is not okay because 600 evil people that we don't agree with, fucking racism is bullshit, it's fucked up, right, but 600 people are bad, and because those 600 people are bad, this can't happen. All right, so let me give you other examples. Tales from crypto. Lira crisis fuels Bitcoin boom in Turkey. So millions of Turks, not 600, millions of Turks, and we've covered this article, so we're not going to read it because we've did episodes on this, right, are using Bitcoin to protect themselves from inflation. But it's not only Turkey. Cubans are also using, but wait, hold on, I thought it was white supremacists. Cubans are also using Bitcoin. Anyways, it goes on to say, some Cubans protesting their government are turning to Bitcoin and shitcoins to get donations to people who need them. But it's not only Cubans. It's also starving Afghans use Bitcoin and shitcoins to sidestep U.S. sanctions. So the U.S. government is starving Afghans and not allowing them access to the financial system, and only Bitcoin and apolitical money is giving them a shot to survive. Check out this quote by an Afghani. You can trade it back and forth, send it overseas, or receive it overseas without ever touching banks, without touching the Afghan government or Taliban. So Bitcoin is helping people all across the world, but this fucking article would like you to focus on 600. This is the propaganda bullshit. And this isn't some crazy publication. This is a huge mainstream publication. This got printed in the print edition of this article. This is the propaganda attack that they're using. And the reason that they're doing that is because they're seeing what's happening in Canada. They're seeing they cannot stop this movement. So they're using the fucking machine to try to attack Bitcoin, to try to tell you a narrative. But when you actually look at the receipts, Turkey, Cuba, Afghanistan, we've shown you articles in Nigeria. This is bullshit, this article. And let's talk about the author, shall we? Check this out. Her name is Zani Minton Bedos. And she, guess what? She's on the World Economic Forum. And in the 90s,
God damn it.
She managed institutional loan shark-like programs in Central, in Eastern Europe, and in Africa. So who's the fucking racist? It sounds like the author is a racist. But again, it's convenient. It's just like the example that I said about the workers of the World Unite, except truckers. When it doesn't fit their political ideology and their political wants, you're a racist. That's the knee jerk. You're a racist because you're a racist. This is fucking bullshit. Anyways, let's continue on, shall we? About 16% of Americans hold and trade crypto, but the authors of an SPLC report published in December struggled to find a prominent American far-right figure without a cryptocurrency presence. Oh, right? This is fucking bullshit. Tim Squirrel of the Institution of Strategic Dialogue, a think tank concerned with extremism, believes much of this has to do with deplatforming efforts. No shit. So hold on a second, right? So GoFundMe stole $10 million. And then they decided that they were going to give it to whatever causes they wanted to do. And then when they got all the chargebacks from the card, it says, oh no, we're just going to issue things, right? Then the people took it upon themselves to find a way to raise money for a peaceful protest in Canada, and the establishment doesn't want that. Anyways, the cryptocurrencies can be used by all appeals to those cast out of payment platforms. No shit. Like Afghanis, like Cubans, like Nigerians, like Turks. They don't want to mention that because it doesn't fit the narrative. The wider crypto scene is often imbued with an anti-establishment spirit. Its fans proclaim that decentralized blockchains will revolutionize finance. This ideal appeals to libertarians those who distrust the traditional banking system, but it also appeals to anti-Semites. Hey, Phil, aren't you Jewish?
I sure am, and I am fully aware that that there are people out there who do hate Jews that can also use Bitcoin.
And how do you feel about those people, Phil?
It's completely irrelevant in terms of Bitcoin.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Everybody should be free to transact. So
those who believe banks hold too much power. Those who believe banks hold too much power because they fear Jewish control over business will be seduced by the idea of an independent or decentralized financial system. Cryptocurrency can therefore could be both a useful funding tool and seen as a revolutionary technology which distances people and their money from elites and bankers. Right? I love how she quoted elites and bankers, and she's on the World Economic Forum.
She's insane.
She's insane, right? So again, it's the same bait and trick over and over again, using anti-Semite, using racism to, morally justify, in this case, she's essentially advocating banning Bitcoin because it allows a very small amount of racist white supremacists to raise money, and completely excludes the fact that it's helping millions upon millions of people around the world that live in countries either with high inflation or totalitarian governments. It's giving them a shot to save for the future. She completely leaves that out of the article. And the Guardian article that we covered yesterday did the exact same thing. These people hate you, and they're willing to use whatever type of propaganda in order to maintain control. And we will beat them. They're fucked. Phil?
Yeah, dude, that totally amazing. You killed it, by the way. That was fantastic. And I just want to point out one extra thing that I think it was Plan Marcus that tweeted this, that the Economist is majority owned by the Rothschilds. And again, we're not putting on the tinfoil hat or anything like that, but you need to remember that they, whether people want to accept it or not, right? That was one of the oldest banking dynasties. Fiat money doesn't just die like that, right? It just continues to accumulate. So the reality is that it's within their best interest to push this absolute garbage nonsense. And again, right, to your point, 600 freaking addresses out of the whole thing. And look at all the people that it empowers. You didn't even, you know what? You didn't even mention all of the Nigerian use of Bitcoin. Really? that's just Nigeria. Like,
it doesn't fit the narrative, dude. It doesn't fit the narrative and the story that she's trying to tell you. This is evil, dude. This is evil. This is lies upon lies upon lies to try to maintain control. These people are hiding behind moral virtue. They're hiding behind the fact that they want you to think, oh, we are against white supremacy. Phil and I are against white supremacy. Dude, I'm a minority. I'm Hispanic. Phil's Jewish. Like, bro, fuck that shit. Those people hate us too. But it's like, that's not what she's doing. What she's doing is she's trying to hide a noble cause. She's hiding behind a normal cause for insidious means. And these people must be called out. Anyways, Eric, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's pretty interesting that they can keep lying in like the same methodology and that they think like it's going to keep working. In addition to, I also think it's super funny that, like, in my opinion, like, Bitcoin seems to have a lot of these like really radical ideas of solidarity and, like workers' justice and people being able to protect themselves. And when these left wokeists encounter it, they're like, not like that. Like, no, like, not, you're not supposed to have solidarity in that way. It's solidarity under the government's guise. And it's like, what? People are just crazy at this point in time. And I think that's how they hold all these contradictions together as well. Like, I think this woman really believes that, like, Bitcoin's racist. And, like, meanwhile, she's, like, at the World Economic Forum with, like, people with masks that are minorities, like, serving her stuff, being like, yeah, like, those racist Bitcoiners. Hey, and she's like, Brownie, like, get back here and give me something. I'm like, they literally don't think that they're racist or that they have bad perspectives or that, and like you said, it's evil. And the banality of evil tells us our encounter with that is never supposed to expect them to be like, oh my God, you're right. Like, I'm evil. I'm so sorry. No, like, they'll give us prattle forever. And so we just need to realize that, like, this is what they do. Know that they're absolutely full of shit. And you should probably make your decisions based upon knowing that everything comes out of their mouth is a lie made to manipulate you, and you should consider it that way.
Absolutely. And I think this year and last year has really highlighted the lengths of which these people will go to in order to keep the narrative, and it's just fucked up. Before we go, I want to read you a quote from Eric's website. Absolutely awesome. It's the first quote. I think it really it's really important. This is by a quote by Satoshi, of course. We will not find a solution to political problems in cryptography. Yes, but we can win a major battle in the arms race and gain a new territory of freedom for several years. Governments are good at cutting off the heads of centrally controlled networks like Napster, but pure peer-to-peer networks like Nutella and Tor seem to be holding their own. Satoshi Nakamoto. So yeah, man, very powerful quote. I think it's it's appropriate for today's topic. But anyways, Phil, there was an open source software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out, cyphersafe.io. It's the best place to store your Bitcoin seed. Store it in the Cypher wheel or the all-new Cypher grid. Comes with punch tool and tamper-resistant wire. The link is down below. All right, we've got Zap Wallet version 0.7.6 beta that was released. It is down below in the show notes. Guys, you know the deal, rain or shine. We post unless we tell you that we don't. Don't forget to check us out on audio-only platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. All right, guys, that was our show. Before we go, I want to give a very special shout out to our awesome guest. You can go give him a follow on Twitter at Eric Casson. I think he said he likes to trick people that it's French. Casson. And definitely go check out Bitcoin Day. It's a meetup in Sacramento. Get your sign up quickly. It's in 11 days, and you could use Eric's name on the promo, and you'll get a discount. Anyways, guys, that was the show. If you enjoyed the show, smash that like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails from there's so many these days, definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin, and we'll see you tomorrow, guys, for a brand new episode.
Bitcoin can't possibly be racist. The corporate-owned media is completely insane.